I know it's Valentine, the morning's works look fine. You know the Jockey's brothers are a friend of mine.
And just a minute, boys, I got the feedbox noise. It says the great...
Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Friday night races at Hastings, August the 15th program. Another Friday night, got 3 more of them, well, tomorrow night and as of taping, and then 2 more after that, 7 o'clock start, so it should be a lot of fun. We have 7 races on tap.
Friday night under the lights. We had a good turnout last week.
It was excellent.
Expect another good turnout this week. It's super fun. This time of year, great weather. It's nice and warm. You get out there, have a few bevies down on the apron there and watch the horses run around.
Get our picks at the old...
Get our picks at the beverage stand.
The beverage carts, or the stands down on the tarmac, which is always good. You get a lot of people that are new to the business, or like us coming in to have a good time, and it's nice to give them a little bit of insight, and at least hopefully we do.
Some days.
Some days we're good. Some days, All right, on to the
2 stakes to kick off the
yes,
Friday night
we got 2 stakes races. The 2-year-olds will be starting off the card in the newest Westminster Handicap. We'll get right into the Friday night program. $50,000 stake for 2-year-old colts to start things off, going 6.5. I've gone to the 4-horse Party Pooper. Pretty impressed with the way this horse ran second behind Jacuzzi Bob. Jacuzzi Bob was a well-meant firster that was really looked like a good 3.5 furlong horse.
Yeah.
And maybe Party Pooper, this horse didn't break super fast, but still ran well, closed nicely, went outside, and did all the things you like to see with a horse, going 3.5. Got some education. 6.5 will suit this horse perfect, I think. And he's come back to work well. I put the 1-horse O'Derrick, who's won going 2 turns already. A nice win over goes way back, and I thought it was a good effort. This horse did need a little bit of an adjustment after bolting first time, so I don't want to put a lot of investment in the horse, but still I liked him last time, and the horse ran well, and they did change, put an extended blinker on the horse, and the horse ran a lot better, stopped him from getting out. I put the 5-horse Merlot, one of the powerful swift thoroughbreds in Dino Condolino's barn. I had a good race mare Napa, who won quite a few stakes, of course the sire Rosberg as well, so good pedigree here, good works, prepping to go this far. Wouldn't be surprised even to see this horse win it, but I like Party Pooper. I got 401 and 5.
I got the same horse, the same order, Mike. I don't have a whole lot to add. Party Pooper, $100,000 son of Desert Party. Exactly what you said. Looked like a good start the first out. The kind of thing he can build on. I think he will. I think he's your horse to beat today. Number 1, O'Derrick, the brother Derek Gelding in here. As you mentioned, big step forward in his second start. Got a 61 buyer for that. He's eligible to win it. And I got Merlot, as you do, in the 3rd spot. You mentioned out of the good race mare Napa. And Dino's 2-year-olds are running off the charts right now. He's batting 38% with his 2-year-old starters. So, as you mentioned, wouldn't be shocked to see that one win. On to the second, the Hard Rock Casino purse. New name
for the Phillies, yes.
New name for one of our stakes here for the 2-year-old
Used to be called
girls.
the Boulevard, but
That's
they
right.
went and changed the name on it. Yeah.
So now it's the Hard Rock.
Hard Rock.
And a hard race to pick. You can make a case for a lot of the fillies in here. I actually went to one, I went to Ambleside Park, the daughter of Fusiachi Pegasus, out of the great race mare Capilina, who's been an even better brood mare. The only start she made, she ran against the boys and got absolutely wiped out at the start by the horse next to her.
Right.
Kind of lost all chance there. Still ran a good race, made a long driving move and got up. Did get beat 8 lengths, but only got beat about a head for 3rd. Was right there with a couple of Craig McPherson's 2-year-olds that he thought fairly highly.
He's running against the boys too, which gets in against the girls.
Was against the boys, and I think she'll take a big step forward in her second start. Dave Forrester 2-year-olds usually take a good step forward in their second start, so I got Ambleside Park on top. I got your favorite. Interesting too to see Amadeo Perez had his option between Bullet and Ambleside Park. He took Ambleside Park. Amadeo has not made a lot of mistakes this year. I do have Bullet in the second spot. 2 runner-up performances so far. The first to Quattrocat, who came back and won the stake on BC Cup Day. Bullet will probably be your favorite here, the daughter of Dunkirk. 2 good races under her belt. As I mentioned, both are going 6 furlongs. And as I mentioned, Dino's 2-year-olds you cannot overlook. His 2-year-olds are always very tough. And in the 3rd spot, I went with Saffron. The only reason I don't have Saffron on top, the daughter of Tale of a Caddy, is because I know that the barn wasn't really very high on her in her first start.
Kind of shocked them.
Yeah, went off at 960 with bug girl Corinne Andros in the tack. But she ran very well. But I don't know how much is there. She could easily win this. Maybe she takes a step back. I just don't really know. I ended up putting her in the third spot. It's a wide open event the way I see it. I went 2, 3, and 6.
Yeah, I didn't love anyone in here, and I ended up on Bullet. Just I know Amadeo leaves, but I don't know if he got fired or I didn't like Amadeo gives a million good rides. I don't think that was one of them on Bullet. He wrestled this horse out of position and ran on to be second. But that's the thing, when you have a stablemate in the race, it's really hard. And Biscuit was in the race as well, and you don't want to get into a speed duel. But I think Frank will suit Bullet perfect. Gone. Just go to the front and go.
Make him catch
you. There's no rating. And I think Bullet will be very dangerous. I went to the 5 Miss Hatter, who's only has the 1.58 in a minute and 3/5. Very good one. But any horses that are coming out of those Ocala sales, they're pretty fit, and they had a lot of groundwork underneath them. And even though this horse only shows a couple of halves and a 5, I guarantee you this horse is pretty fit to go 6.5 furlongs, because this one was sales prep for that sale. And I know Chad Joe's Copperwater stable didn't give a lot of money for the horse, but still looks like they got a pretty good investment. They got a pretty nice little horse. So I'm going to put this one in for second, and I put the 6 horse Saffron in for third, as you mentioned. Obviously the barn, didn't fancy the horse because he surfaced for 12.5, and still ran a big race though. And I don't mind Ambleside Park, the North Van connections, Capilano. Ambleside Park. I've been to Ambleside Park a few times, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this horse move forward. I went to Bullet though. I went 3, 5, and 6 in the Hard Rock Casino onto the third race. I got some $5,000 older geldings going 6.5 furlongs. Pretty much the same field that lined up against each other, other than Ark Hill, a couple of weeks back. And I'm going to go to the 6 Swiss Arrogant. This horse battled with Ray's Reno last time, put that one away, and then the rail was left open for Lucky Molly Miner, who snuck up the inside and did just guzz him right on the wire. But I don't know if Lucky Molly Miner gets that good a trip again. Well, then Lucky Molly Miner will win. But I'm gonna say Swiss Arrogant gets, Lucky Molly Miner doesn't get that same trip, and Swiss Arrogant, who will be in good position because she has speed, and this horse will be pretty dangerous. So I'm going to go to him to win it, put Lucky Molly Miner in for second. Been in sharp form for Mike Anderson and Doug Clyde, and looks like a live horse. And I put the 4 Ark Hill, who's always money at this condition, but he's getting a little age on him, and he doesn't run as often as he used to, so it's a little tougher when those races don't aren't every 3 weeks, keep the old bones going. So this one's had a bit of a layoff, so he might be vulnerable. We'll see. I went 6, 1, and 4.
I did go to Ark Hill just because, as you mentioned, he is always very tough at this condition. Richard Hamill back in the tack. Hamill knows this horse well, suits him. He's had a lot of success on this horse. He has been off since May, but I don't think that's necessarily a terrible thing for him, as he is 9 years old now.
Sometimes freshened up is good.
Yeah, it gets a little freshened up. His works look good coming into it. The 46 and 3 on August 10th shows me that he's probably ready to go. I got him on top, put Lucky Molly Miner in the second spot of the Mike Anderson barn, just one at this level. In the third spot, I put Big Jim in. This is a horse I keep going to, keeps kind of disappointing me. Got beat by 3 lengths last time as the chalk. Amadeo Perez sticks with him. I'm waiting for one of these days when Big Jim can put it together for Hall of Fame trainer Alan May, so I left him in the third spot. I got 4, 1, and 5.
Hall of Fame owner, too.
Jimmy Beach.
Jimmy Beach. He's in our Hall of Fame.
All our best to Jimmy Beach. In the fourth, maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up. I ended up going to the outside horse here, your favorite, Spirit River. Just got beat for maiden 25 to Wonder World out of the Carl Lofton barn, who came back and ran a big race on BC Cup Day. I don't mind that. Wonder World's a pretty nice horse. Got beat a length and a half by him. I don't see anybody that tough in here, so I went to Spirit River on top at a short price for Richard Hamill. I picked him 2 in a row. The second spot I went with Blended, a horse that's been up and down in the maiden special weight, maiden 25 categories, but his best races were sprints. I know this is a horse with his breeding in that they felt would be better long, but his best races are sprints. Last time he ran a sprint, he only got beat 3/4 of a length. She got beat by Champagne Gal, and I dig that. So if she can repeat that form, I think she'll be tough even against the boys. And in the third spot, I went with Strangely Rousing. The horse just had 1 start out of the underrated Spud O'Connell barn. Got beat 4 3/4 lengths by Goliath and Eldorado Gold. Got a decent buyer for it, a 48 buyer. I look for him to take a step forward, and I think he will. I got him in the third spot, 6, 2, and 1 for me.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to. I agree with the 6. The 6 is looks hands down on paper to be the lock, returning to a sprint. This horse battled on the pace going along, fast pace, still hung on well, and And I know it was maiden 25, but this maiden special came up pretty weak.
It's basically maiden 25.
Spirit River's dangerous in here.
Yeah.
I put the 3 PS Times of Wasting in for second, and the 1 Strangely Arousing in behind him. I think those 2 are eligible to improve. They just had the 1 start. They're both coming out of the same Goliath race, and they're both horses that can move forward, and they need to, but I mean, there wasn't a lot to go on. I stayed away from the 2 fillies and Green Dude, who's had 19 chances, so...
this will be his
19. This will be 18 chances, but maybe
you.
Green Dude will win it for Terry Smith. Great guy, Terry, and he does a
absolutely.
good job with his small stable, and always pull for horses like Green Dude that are trying hard.
One of these days he'll get there.
He will get there and get the big money. But I like Spirit River. This horse is live in here. I went 6-3-1 in the 4th, which does kick off the late pick 4. On to the 5th race. Got some $4,000 fillies and mares. Normally it's a 2 lifetime, going a 6.5 furlongs. I've gone to the 6th. Find Your Beat. Amadeo Perez 6th with this, or gets the call on this one. After back-to-back good efforts against similar types. The Kula Kid came back. This horse won the last race against Find Your Beach and came back to run a good second in a non-winners, a 3-for-4. So at least that enhances the race a bit and showed that this horse got beat by a pretty good horse. I'm going to go to Find Your Beach. I put the 5-horse Rodessa, only because of the dynamics of the race should favor the horse. It looks like there's going to be a bit of speed in here, and Rodessa could get a good trip under Freddie Manrique. And I put the 3-horse Jag-Time Tune, who was overstepping a condition last time, running a non-3-for-4, gets back into a non-2-for-4, and this horse could be a little better as well. This horse made a pretty good run at them, but that was against Honey Skila and the aforementioned the Kula Kid. Things are easier today, so I went 6-5. I don't love the race. I went 6-5-3, but I think you need a few in this leg of the pick 4.
I totally agree with you, Mike. I went with Find Your Beach on top. The reasons you mentioned, Amadeo Perez with Tracy McCarthy looks very tough. Rodessa out of the Pedro Alvarado barn, another one that looks very tough. Fits his condition well. Only got beat a couple lengths last time. Only got beat a length by Find Your Beach. I put Miss Dickey in the 3rd spot, a lightly raced horse. Out of the Troy Taylor barn, was favorite last time. It started off in an allowance race against Willamette earlier this year. Dropped it down to the non-2-4 and led the whole way. Got a little tired late. I think with that race under her belt, she's going to be tough. It's all outside horses for me. 6, 5, and 7. If I would put another one in, I might throw in Ken Johnson's 4 Times Lucky. I like the ones on the outside. 6, 5, and 7 for me. In the 5th. On to the 6th, 3-year-old allowance race. Nice little allowance race.
Yep.
Get some of these horses a prep as we edge closer ever to the British Columbia Derby. And a horse that is definitely making a start in here with his eyes on the British Columbia Derby is number 2, James Redicup's Mr. Candy out of the Anita Bolton stable. A horse who broke his maiden at Gulfstream Park. Ran very well at Woodbine in the non-2. Came back in a very tough allowance race at Woodbine. Did get beat 7 lengths, but was right near the pace the whole way on the poly track. That was going 1 mile and 1/8. For 6.5 furlongs, his numbers look good. His works look good. Worked in 58 and 4 the other day. He doesn't seem to mind Hastings. He looks like a standout in this race with Amadeo Perez aboard. The 2nd spot, I went to Richter Red. Comes off a good 3rd behind Coffee Grinder and Off the Top in the Stellar J for 3-year-olds on BC Cup Day. That makes him look tough in here. And then 3rd spot, I went to Ambidextrous Duke out of the John Morrison barn, a horse that John owns with his wife Kim. 58 and 3, a nice work the other day. This horse only had 1 start last year for maiden 25. He did win that. He comes into this race just off works, but the works look very fast, and this is a horse that definitely the sky's kind of the limit. He's got a lot of upside, and we'll see where he fits in with this bunch. But Mr. Candy definitely looks very tough in here for me. I went with 2-3-6.
Yeah, I agree, Drew. I think Mr. Candy's your horse. I can see him flopping, but I wouldn't want to key him. I can see him winning by 10, and I can see him not doing well. I mean, he's a horse that's been running on synthetics in Woodbine. They've tried him on the turf this year. Brian Lynch did, who's a top trainer in Toronto. Nothing much going on. The 2nd was for a non-240, which is comparable to this, though. This is comparable to an open allowance or to a non-2, non-3 allowance in Vancouver. But like the works, love the connections. Mr. Candy looks like on paper your horse to beat, but there are some holes you can shoot in him. I mean, he's not a sure thing. The 3 Richter Red, I don't mind him at all. I think you definitely need 2 horses here. Richter Red's a cool horse that continues to try hard. Took him off the pace last time, made a pretty good run. The Coffee Grinder's pretty nice little colt. He's going to probably be your favorite for the Derby in a few weeks' time. And Richter Red got beat 10 lengths to him, but they're around there. but still is a horse that might appreciate coming back to a sprint, so I don't mind him at all. This is a lot easier company for Richter Red. I put the 5 Carson City Brown's just an honest horse for Mel Snow in the 3rd spot. But I like Mr. Candy. I think this race came up pretty good for him. But I would take 2 of them, 2 and 3. I went 2, 3, 5.
I want to mention too, just as it pops into my head, I'm looking at it off the top here. Off the top, of course, we'll be running the Canadian Derby on Saturday. Something to keep an eye on. This is our last.
I think he's 7-2.
Before that,
he's 7-2 in the Canadian Derby, and drew the 11 hole.
Remember to Breathe is in there, another local horse.
Yeah.
Always
a couple $100,000 on the table for the Canadian Derby, but best wishes to Sylvia Gregory and her connections, and Robbie Anderson, and of course that's Frank Fuentes. I think Brian Pacheco's on.
Right, yeah, he is on Remember to Breathe, and Frank Fuentes is on off the top.
That's on Saturday.
That runs at around 5:30, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah. So hopefully congratulations.
Yes.
Good luck. On to the 7th and final race on the Friday night program. Maiden 5 Granders going 6.5 furlongs. I ended up on the 8, Drew. I went Act Exotically.
Yep.
This horse, good runner-up effort, I thought, behind Devon Way in a pretty good time. That's good enough for me to put him in the top spot. I went to the 9 Red Riverman for 2nd. He did run against SL Express and P.S. Crosby. Those are a lot tougher horses. Maiden 16, Maiden 12-5 prior to that. This horse is, down for the 5 now. He's going to be dangerous. And I put the 2 horse returning to Hastings on the sunny side. A couple runs last year. Has been sold privately since running once at Pleasanton, and has a good work. And we'll see what the big class drop down for 5,000 can get him in the winner's circle. But I went 8, 9, and 2. I like Act Exotically.
I got the same horses. I did put Red Riverman on top there. Yeah. He's just been running against way tougher horses. He takes a drop down to Maiden 5. He gets Amadeo Perez to stick with him. That's just the horse I had to go with. I put on the sunny side 2nd. Yep. Just Richard Hamill, our 2nd leading rider here. I'm sure he had some options in here. I would bet he worked this horse, liked him, and said, yeah, for Maiden 5, I'll give a shot to him. And a horse, coming to a new low for him. So not a terribly tough Maiden 5 on the sunny side, could pay a few dollars as well. And your top horse, Act Exotically, good 2nd last time behind Devon Way. Figures to be in the mix here, of course. I got 9, 2, and 8. Same ones as Mike, just a little bit different order. That'll do it for our analysis of the August 15th, Friday night races. Up next will be our picks. Mike, as always.
Yep, there we go. Back in race 1. I went to the 4 horse, Party Pooper. Hopefully everything goes well for the Pooper. 4, 1, and 5 in the first. In the second race, went to the 3 Bullet, 3, 5, and 2. Miss Hatter. I don't mind Miss Hatter either. I went 3, 5, 3, 5, 6, pardon me. In the third race, went to the 6, Swiss Arrogant, 6, 1, and 4. Race number 4, the start of the late pick 4, went to 6 with Spirit River, who I think is likely your best bet of the day. I went 6, 3, and 1. Race number 5, I went to the 6 again, Find Your Beach, over the 5 Rodessa, 6, 5, and 3 for me in the 5th. On the 6th race, number 2, Mr. Candy, making his Hastings debut. Interesting to see how he does. He's been running back east, but still looks like he's got a little bit of class. I went 2, 3, and 5 in the 6th. And in the 7th, I went to the 8, Act Exotically. I went 8, 9, and 2 to close it out on the Friday night program.
There's my picks in the first. I agree with Mike on number 4, Party Pooper, over the 1 and the 5. In the second, I went to the 2, Ambleside Park, over the 3 and the 6. In the third, I went to the 4, Arkhill, over the 1 and the 5. In the fourth, I'm with Mike on number 6, Spirit River, over the 2 and the 1. In the fifth, number 6, Find Your Beach, over the 5 and the 7. In the 6th, number 2, Mr. Candy. It'd be interesting to see what this horse can do, over the 3 and the 6. And in the nightcap, the 7th, I went to the 9, Red Riverman, over the 2 and the 8.
All right, that'll do it for our analysis and selections of the Friday, August 15th program. Just a quick reminder that racing resumes on Monday, August the 18th.
4 o'clock post.
4 o'clock post. We do have 7 races drawn. We drew this morning as of taping. We just drew. And 7 races, a couple of good allowance races, a maiden allowance as well. There's 3 pretty good
that maiden allowance
co-features.
Tough one to pick.
I know, there's some really good colts in the 2-year-old maiden allowance race, and there's some older horse allowance races as well. So great card on the Monday, August the 18th program. So I'll do it for this edition of Handicapper's Corner. On behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
The telegraph.
Football Rivera bite. I hear his foot's all right. Of course, it all depends if it red last night.